In this video, we're going to go over units. One of the most important topics, as any problem that we'll deal with in physics is going to include units. So firstly, we'll talk about what is the International Unit System. So what are our standard units in physics? Secondly, we'll talk about prefixes, a topic that is missed in a lot of different classes. So I'll teach you what does it mean, a centi prefix, what does mega mean, etc. And finally, I will teach you a unit conversion method, a really useful and a really fast method for converting one unit into another, a skill you will absolutely need for any problem you'll approach in physics. So as you can see, this video will be really informative. So let's firstly start with our standard units, right? So in physics, we use International Unit System. So all our units have to agree with each other. So the whole world and the scientific community essentially decided that we will use, for length, we will use meters as standard unit. For mass, we will use kilograms. For time, we will use seconds. For velocity, we'll use meters per second. Acceleration is meters per second squared. And force will have units of newtons. Now, there will be other quantities. So as we learn about through things like energy, right? We'll learn what are the units for energy. As we'll learn about power, what are the units for power, etc., etc. But those are the ones that I would say you need to worry about right now. So if a given problem gives you a unit, for example, for length as 100 miles, the first thing that you should think about before you even start solving it is the fact that you have to convert it to meters. So that brings me to the next point, right? That we need to know how to convert any unit into these units right here. So the first thing that we need to know for that conversion are common unit prefixes, right? So a lot of the times I can add a prefix and that basically translates to some kind of multiplication factor. For example, right? You probably have heard somebody says kilometer. So kilometer, right? Kilo means a prefix of 1,000. So 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters, right? It's because the prefix kilo corresponds to 10 to the third power or 1,000. Similarly, for example, 1 kilogram, right? Kilo means it's 1,000 grams. Similarly, other prefixes, for example, mega, M, big M, corresponds to 10 to the 6 or million, right? Centimeter corresponds to 10 to the minus 2 or 0.01 in decimal form. Milli will be 10 to the minus 3, right? We have micro, which is this Greek letter mu, 10 to the minus 6, and nano, which is 10 to the minus 9, so really small. The most common ones that we'll actually see in this class, right, are these three, right, which is kilo, centi, and milli. So I would really encourage you to remember those powers. But in order to really remember them, let's practice to convert a few of these problems over here. So for example, 100 kilometer. So as we see, we need to take out if we take out the prefix kilo, right, we just add the power of 10 to the 3. So either you add 3 zeros to 100. So this would be 100,000 meters, or you can write it in scientific notation as 10. Let's see, there's a total number of 5 zeros, so 10 to the power of 5 meters. Similarly, let's convert 12 millimeters. So milli, as you can see, is 10 to the power of minus 3. So 12 to the power of 10 to minus 3. So again, in the decimal form, right, if you want to divide 12 by 1,000, 1, 2, 3. So 0.012 meters. Or you can write it in the scientific notation as 1.2 10 to the minus 2, right? It's if you're wondering why did the power change, is because I wrote 12 as 1.2, right? And so 1.2 times 10 will be 12, right? So I put this power of 10 over here, therefore it changes from minus 3 to minus 2. You can also remember, you can do scientific, you can put your calculator actually in the scientific notation mode if you go to mode and select your answer as sci-fi. So that could simplify your calculations a lot, as your calculator will give you an output and answer in the unit, in the scientific notation unit. We also have 5 grams over here. So 5 grams, let's take a look. We want to convert it to kilograms, right? And we know that so we want to get kilograms at the top, and so we know that 1 kilogram corresponds to 1,000 grams. So in other words, I need to divide 5 grams by 1,000. So it'll be 0.005 kilograms. Fantastic. Now, in the next part, we're going to learn a unit conversion method, a really useful method for converting one unit into another. So over here, I will teach you this method. Let's start with a simpler problem, converting 2 hours to seconds. So we're going to start with our number over here, 2 hours. Now, in this method, I want you to think, right? Hours is basically on the top. So what I want to do is I want to cancel out hours. And I want to get, well, firstly, let's convert from hours to minutes. So first, I want to think, okay, I put hours on the bottom so that it cancels out. And I have to put minutes on the top so that it stays in the minutes. Then I'm thinking, okay, what number do I need to attach to this? So I know that 1 hour corresponds to 60 minutes. Great. Now I need to convert, so I canceled out units of hours, I have units of minutes. Now I need to think, okay, how do I cancel out minutes? So minutes, do they need to be on the top or the bottom? Well, of course they have to be on the bottom because I need to cancel them out, and seconds have to be at the top. So then I attach a number. 1 minute corresponds to 60 seconds. So this method allows me to visually see that I did all my calculations correctly. As you see, all the units canceled out to give just seconds. So I know that what I need to do is multiply 2 times 60 times 60, and I get an answer of 7,200 seconds. Great. Now, similarly, let's take a look at the second example, converting 5 days now to seconds. Now, first, we should convert days to hours. So again, days, should they be on the top or on the bottom? Well, days should be on the bottom, right, to cancel out. And hours should be on the top. So 1 day corresponds to 24 hours. Great. Then I need to, again, cancel out hours because I want to get 2 minutes. Now, 1 hour corresponds to 60 minutes. Finally, to get to the seconds, right? Should I divide or multiply by minutes? Of course, I need to divide by minutes and multiply by seconds. So 1 minute corresponds to 60 seconds. Again, as you can see, this method is really nice because you can visually see that we did everything correctly. All the units canceled out except seconds. Therefore, what we need to do on our calculator is do 5 times 24 times 60 times 60. And we get the final answer of 432,000 or 432,000 seconds. Great. Now for this final problem is going to be a little bit more complicated. We're going to convert 5 kilometers an hour to meters per second. So here we have 5 kilometers per hour to meters per second. So the final unit should be meters per second. So there's 2 things that we really need to do. One is convert kilometers to meters. Another one is convert hours to seconds. So let's firstly do kilometers one. So I want to cancel out kilometers, so they will be on the bottom, and I want to get meters on the top. From the previous page, I know that 1 kilometer, the prefix of 1 kilo corresponds to 1,000 meters. Okay, so just like this, I found out that I need to multiply by 1,000. Now I have units of meters per hour, right? But I want meters per second. So I need to cancel out the hours. So 1 hour, hour on the top, and seconds on the bottom, right? So let's do firstly 2 minutes. So 1 hour corresponds to 60 minutes. And then to cancel out minutes and have seconds at the bottom, right? I know that 1 minute corresponds to 60 seconds. So in other words, what I have to do on my calculator is do 5 times 1,000 divided by 60 times 60. And the final answer will be 1.4 meters per second, right? So just like this, I converted 5 kilometers an hour to meters per second. So this method is really good, especially as you can see if you do really long unit conversions. So I hope you keep it in mind as you'll be solving these physics problems. Please keep watching these videos and keep practicing physics on your way to an A. Thank you guys for watching.